Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you tonight. We're going to start with Reverend Todd Bussey, campus pastor at Christ Church, to lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll stand.
Father in heaven, we pause in this moment to acknowledge you, just to recognize you, Father, as the giver of all good gifts in our life. And we want to express appreciation to you and know that all things come under your provision and care. We're so grateful. And Father, we thank you for this evening and the opportunity that we have to gather together to be able to talk about important matters that relate to our children. We thank you for the leaders that are present here. And we would pray, Father, for them, what you say in your scripture you'll give freely and without judgment, and that's wisdom. Give them the wisdom and discernment to guide us and to direct us and to make the sort of decisions that will positively impact our children, the better of the decisions that they have to face today. And Father, in the course of conversations, we know that things can get very passionate because the matters that we discuss are important. And so we pray a little bit of your fruit of your Spirit as well, for the peace and patience and kindness and understanding, recognizing that we're all seeking to accomplish the common good here. So grant a universal sense of understanding that we're working together. May you bless our time, and may you just be honored through how we express ourselves today. We pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. Will you join with me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you ready? I'm going to introduce them.
The December 7th meeting of the Clay County School Board will come to order. I'm going to wait and read my little paragraph after we have our student showcase, Patterson Elementary Chorus. And board members and superintendent, if you would, we'll go down and so we can see them.
And thank you. Through the chair, this evening, the Patterson Elementary School Chorus will be led by music teacher Pam Naughty.
Uh-oh. Squeak, squeak. Just us mice in here. Mice. Achoo! I'm getting too old for this. Raccoons in here. Armadillos. Land shark? No. Shh. Wrong. Whatever. Oh, come on. Give me a break. I am trying to work in here. Ow.
Yeah, right. Well, they didn't ask me to sing.
You just try to get boogie woogie reindeer out of your head tonight.
That's right. They did a fabulous job.
Okay, I'd like to welcome the citizens of Clay County I want to take this opportunity to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to attend tonight's school board meeting. This meeting is our opportunity as your elected officials to collaborate openly and make decisions that will decide the future direction of our public schools and the education of our children here in Clay County. If you wish to address the board, there will be an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Please fill out a card, which you will find located in the back of the room, indicating the specific item, number, or topic you wish to speak about, and turn it in promptly. No additional cards will be accepted once the board moves to the public comment sections under presentations from the audience. Your participation is welcomed and appreciated. Just a minute, my computer cut off. Okay. Next, we have recognitions and awards. Bullying Prevention Public Service Announcement Video winners, Mr. McCauley and Sherry Luter. Shelley.
I thought you hire somebody new then.
To the board chair and the board, we are very honored and excited to be here tonight to sort of recognize something that kids are getting involved with and standing up for in their buildings to make an awesome culture and climate within their schools. So I get the honor of turning this over to Shelley Luter, who ran this whole thing, and she will share with us who won and what that was all about.
Well, first off, I wanted to thank Mr. Davis and Mr. McCauley, because you guys gave me the best job in Clay County, and I genuinely mean that. This evening, unfortunately, none of my elementary winners were able to make it, but I did want to go ahead and recognize the schools. That was Oakleaf Village Elementary and Lakeside Elementary were our big winners for that category. And then for our secondary winners, we had quite the sweep, with Oakleaf Junior High taking 3rd, 2nd, and 1st.
Oh, my goodness.
So I have some groups of different levels here. For our 3rd place winners, I have Kylie Heichel, Michaela Summers, Rebecca Hudson, and Caitlin Ramp. And they're staying close to me because they're following directions very well. I told them to stand, smile, and clump. So you guys. Smile good. And this is 3rd place. Okay, next, ready? I have my 2nd place, and these are my 2 strong contenders representing the 2nd place team. I have all of the winners were Haley Renault, Micah Minter, Kaylin Doyle, I mispronounced that, Madeline, and Jaden Gable. All right, so you guys did so well. They follow directions so well. And alrighty, my 1st place winners. London Francis, Morgan Wisdom, Courtney Hughes, Sienna Sparkman, and Amari Calhoun. Yay. Okay, that's it.
I will share with the audience that these videos are linked to the board agenda items, so please, I hope you get a chance to go online and watch their videos. And I will also just point out that because Oakleaf Junior High School took all 3 of the secondary levels, this is a call out to the rest of the secondary schools in this district that next year we expect to see other winners at least competing. So. All right, thank y'all very much. Oh, we got one more? All right. So we'll ask the superintendent and the board chair to hang tight. Do you have something?
Okay, good evening. Terry Connor, Chief of Secondary Education. It's my proud honor tonight to recognize some alumni of Clay County who have really gone above and beyond and donated thousands of dollars, about $25,000 plus to be exact. And if I could have Principal Anderson from Orange Park High, Mr. Jay Adair from Petticoat Schmidt Civil Contractors, if you guys will stand right there. Orange Park is happy that one of its graduates is giving back to help the athletes have a better place to play on our baseball grounds. Actually, over the years, the infield has accumulated a lot of clay. And through those years, it actually has created somewhat of a safety hazard where the infield and outfield developed a great drop-off right there that caused, actually from looking in the dugout, if you were a coach sitting in the dugout or a student sitting in the dugout, you couldn't see the bottom half of the players from their knees down out in the outfield due to this hazard. And Petticoat Schmidt saw this as a problem that they could provide a solution to and donated countless hours, a lot of money, and a lot of manpower to help out Orange Park's baseball field. They took over 60 loads of clay off of that field, graded it out, all this pro bono, just donated their services, and it's such a testimony to what we create as products, the great citizens we create here in Clay County, how they are giving back, and we are so thankful for the work that Petticoat Schmidt. Tonight we have Jay Adair from Petticoat Schmidt representing. We also want to give thanks to Ryan Schmidt, who is the president of Petticoat Schmidt Civil Contractors, and we just want to give you a big round of applause and a thank you for all of your services. Thank you so much.
All right, good evening. I'm Kelly Watt, Social Studies Specialist, and I'm joined tonight by Christy Gomez, my partner in Social Studies. Each year, we set aside 1 week in September to honor the role that our founding fathers and founding documents have played in creating our American society. This is known as Founders Week. During this special week, you'll find our students engaged in activities that teach them more about our Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the men and women who fought for our freedoms. Each year, Founders Week is celebrated with a different theme. This year's theme was American Symbols. Our elementary schools had the opportunity to participate in a district-wide contest where they were asked to describe and illustrate the symbol that they think best represents America. With an art teacher now in every elementary school, we saw great participation and highly talented illustrations. Tonight, I hope you can join me in honoring the Founders Week Art Contest winners for 2017 in grades kindergarten through 5th. Their artwork is currently displayed in the case on the back wall for all to enjoy. I hope you'll have a chance to see it before you leave. If you are a Founders Week Art Contest winner, please join us up here so we can properly recognize you. All right. All right, we are going to start off with kindergarten, in the kindergarten category, Allison Willis from Clay Hill Elementary, who said that the symbol that best represents America is a flag and hearts because I love my country. Allison Willis, are you here? All right. All right, first grade is Addison Taylor from Argyle Elementary, who said the symbol that best represents America is a Statue of Liberty because she stands tall. In second grade, Jency Paddock from McCray Elementary said the symbol that best represents America is an American flag because it represents our Army fighting to keep us free. Thank you, Jency. Third grader Maya Carroll from McCray Elementary won for third grade category, who said a bald eagle could symbolize America because it means freedom and independence to me. For fourth grade, Isabella Thomas, representing Shadow Lawn Elementary, said all things in America could symbolize America because it represents us. And last but definitely not least, Abigail Brooks won the fifth grade category. She's from Clay Hill Elementary, and she said an American flag could symbolize America because it's a flag for our country. We should all respect and love this powerful symbol. The heart is for love, the fire wings for power, and the halo for respect. And she added a note that said, this illustration is dedicated to the victims of the Las Vegas shooting. Thank you, Abigail. All right, thank you. Let's give them one more round of applause.
All right, one more opportunity to recognize students in their hard work. I want to introduce the board and the chair and the superintendent to Miss Susie Gannon, our district's new media specialist and helping lead us into the 21st century. She just joined our team not too terribly long ago. She is going to introduce the winners of a statewide contest. Many of them are not here, but we do want to acknowledge and recognize their hard work. And again, their videos are linked on our website, and I hope you guys will go and look at their fine work.
The Jim Harbin Media Festival was created in honor of Jim Harbin, a former consultant with the Florida Department of Education, who originated the idea of a statewide media festival to recognize the excellent work being done across the state by Florida and students of media producers. The Jim Harbin Student Media Festival encourages students of FAME members to communicate through media production and to recognize and reward outstanding presentations. These talented student producers were honored for their outstanding meeting productions at the award ceremony in October. Tonight, we formally congratulate our state award winners. As your name is called, please come forward. In grades K through 2, first place book trailer, The Pet War, Coppergate, Mia Petrowski, and Nate Camcross, Kim Miskalski sponsor. Second place, comedy, The EJ Show, Argyle, Jocelyn Fusanato, Emma Rivera, and Court Suarez. Sponsor is Jessica Ayers. Third place, documentary, first grade book reports, Patterson, Mackenzie Chicketts, Lucas Pham, Cooper Blackwood, sponsored Linda Marlowe. Grades 3 through 5 winners. First place, book trailer, The Worm Whisperer, Coppergate, Lauren Hughes and Alan Trump, Kim Miskalski, sponsor. Documentary, Living History, Coppergate, Julia Turner and Mallory Blackwell. Sponsors are Jennifer Moore and Kim Miskalski. Category, Public Service Announcement, Stay Safe, Don't Text and Walk, Tynes, Kaylee Zapata, Stuart Roberts, sponsor Courtney Roberts. Second place, news feature, Chasing a Dream, Coppergate, Maddie Rodriguez Cruz and Amber Carncross. Sponsor, Kim Miskowski. News show, Poe News, Plantation Oaks, Delia Edwards, Alanis Davila, Gracelyn Wemple, Mackenzie Jacob. Sponsor, Matt Snow. Grades 6 through 8, book trailer, The Hunger Games, Fleming Island Elementary, Lane Barlow, Riley Thornberry, and Mackenzie Queen. Comedy, The Golden Years, Oakleaf Junior High, Kiana and Kayla Jabbar Ansari. Sponsor is Wendy West. Music video, Closer, Oakleaf Junior, Haley Renault. Sponsor, Miss Wendy West. Documentary, Russian Tortoise, Oakleaf Junior. Students are Jonathan Vasquez. The sponsor is Miss Wendy West. Instructional video, How to Make a Cupcake Bouquet, Coppergate, Deshani Hetrachashi and Lucia Flores. Kim Miskowski, sponsor. Public service video, A Ripple of Hope, Coppergate, Deshani Hachachari, Lucia Flores, Kim Miskowski, sponsor. Grades 9 through 12. Second place winners are Animation, Trash Talk, Middleburg High, Faith Chester, Makia Estelle, Tyler Braswell, Haley Kegley, and Peyton Lanou. Kim Lanou, sponsor. Instructional, How to Make Buffalo Chicken Dip, Middleburg High, Cameron Lanou, Kendall Meeks, Allison Wall. Sponsor, Kim Lanou. If we have anyone in this category, please come ahead. There are 25 of them. But it's the music video, They Play Us. Kim Lanou, sponsor. Middleburg High School. News show, 11/16/16 News Kendall, Middleburg High. Diamond Knight, Jillian Bemis, Peyton Lanou, Carrie Kersey, Tony Hughes, Emily Kilpatrick, Brent Manny, Blake Fox, Josie Bailey. Sponsor, Kim Lanou. Public service video, Pics Don't Equal Love, Middleburg High. Sponsor, Kim Lanou. Third place, comedy, Practice Makes Perfect, Ridgeview High, Austin Kittle, and Leighton Bloom. Sponsor, John Sugamato. And those are our winners, our state winners.
I got it. I got it. We will give you a minute if y'all aren't just dying to stay through the rest of the board meeting. And tomorrow's a school day. We understand. We have some of the best-looking kids in the world. They are precious. Oh, dear. Are you getting a cone? Okay, we have no presenters tonight. Next is the school showcase, McCray Elementary School, Tammy Winkler, principal. I believe you brought your cheering squad.
We try. Good evening. Thank you so much, Superintendent Davis and school board and cabinet members for allowing me to speak and to tell you some of the great things happening at McCray Elementary. We serve the rural community of McCray since 1996. We're between Keystone and Middleburg. We serve 550 students. Mr. Davis recognized McCray Elementary as being a champion of change last year for being at the top quartile of the Insight Survey for Culture and Climate. 100% of our teachers reported that McCray is a great place to teach and learn, so we're very proud of that. The Intel math training is some of the most powerful, rigorous math training for teachers, and we're proud to announce that we have a member of every one of our math teams serving that has received that training, and we're going to have more go in the spring and summer. Our goal is to have 100% of our math teachers Intel trained. And during the instructional rounds, the teams found that our classrooms were warm and welcoming and that we have implemented small group instruction. Dr. Stallman has challenged all of us to increase our science proficiency, and I can report to you that we have 3 teachers that are completely on board with that. They are committed to improving instruction. All of our units of study begin with an investigation, and it's increased our motivation and student engagement. More strengths of McCray. We are a Eureka K-6 school. I don't know how many schools in the county can say that, but McCray can say that. And our teachers love this program. The kids enjoy working like that. And we feel like that they're building conceptual development for our kids. We're not just solving math problems. They really understand what they're doing. We're in the 3rd year of implementation of SIPs. K through 3rd grade, 100% of our kids receive that phonics instruction in a differentiated environment. So we push our kids that are ready to go, and we give our kids the extra support that they need. Leveled LOI, we love LOI, and we're using it to support our struggling readers. We have 128 students receiving treatment, and next week we're so excited. We're going to reassess to check for mastery, to check for growth. We're going to celebrate those gains, and we're going to use that data to reform our groups to meet the needs of our kids. Our opportunities for improvement, we agree with Mr. Davis that we need to put more complex text in front of our children. We need them digging in it, and we need to align the tasks that we're having students complete. We need to align them to the standards to increase the rigor of what we're asking students to do, and teachers are on board with that. Strategies for improving teaching and learning. We are so excited. We had a half-time instructional coach come in, but we were able to use our Title I funds to have that person full-time. So now we have a full-time instructional coach that focuses on math and science, and that has allowed our Title I coach to just focus on ELA, and they are constantly supporting teachers in the classroom with core instruction and small group differentiated remediation. All of our teachers have visited the Eureka demonstration classrooms. That was something that came from our instructional rounds. That was one of the things they asked us to do. 100% have done that, and they've come back with new ideas and have tweaked what they're doing to improve instruction. Every district curriculum specialist has supported instruction at McCray. They have worked to build trusting relationships with the teachers. The teachers have enjoyed working with them. They've shared resources, planned lessons, discussed standards. They've modeled lessons for us and actually worked side by side with our teachers to co-teach lessons. They've been a part of a debrief to allow us to be reflective about our practice. Next steps, as I've already said, we're going to continue to give our kids complex texts to dig into. We're going to match the learning activities our kids complete with the standards so that the work is more rigorous, and our students are going to continue to cite evidence and explain their strategies and reasoning in detail. We're excited that McCray was chosen for a PITSCO lab. That is a science lab that our teachers will be trained in facilitating missions. I know our kids are going to be real excited to hear those words, complete missions. So they're going to complete investigations to master standards. That's coming soon to McCray. Students are taking ownership of their learning. They worked at the beginning of this school year to create their classroom norms. They're setting personal goals and monitoring their goals, monitoring their progress toward those goals, and they have conversations often with their teachers just discussing what their strengths are and what they need to work on and how they're going to get there. Students are involved in extracurricular activities. We have K-Kids, Striders, Bible Club. We're blessed to have Gadara Baptist Church right across the street. So every Tuesday they walk over. There's 70 of them that walk over for Bible Club. We have Safety Patrol, and our guidance, our gifted teacher will lead our math robotics to buy books to reward children for meeting reading goals. We had over 200, we have 500 kids. We had over 200 dads come out for our Walk Your Child to Class Day. It was lots of fun. Our science coach, our math and science coach, gave simple little science experiments that dads could complete with their children at home to include our families in our learning goals and our school improvement goals. We had our first fall festival in about 8 years, and it was a huge success. All of our families and faculty and staff members came out, and it was a great night for our school. I don't know if you watched the Jaguar game Sunday, but if you saw all those yellow t-shirts, McCray was the first school to arrive on the scene, so I just love that I can imagine being a kid from McCray. Lots of kids don't have that opportunity, but 70 kids from McCray attended the Jaguar game Sunday. They were rewarded for meeting their reading challenge goals. As you can tell, teachers are working really, really hard at McCray, doing great things in our classroom for our students. They're dedicated to meeting the needs of students. We have the nicest kids. The nicest kids attend McCray Elementary. They have the best manners. They're respectful. If you're here from McCray, will you stand up just real quickly? McCray Elementary. We have a wonderful group of people that we all work together to help kids learn and grow. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight, and come out to visit us one day to see the great things that are happening at McCray. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have no scheduled citizens' request, and this is the last call for comment cards. Is there anyone who wishes to turn in a card to speak for 3 minutes who hasn't done so? Okay. Next, we will have our presentations from the audience. This is the public comment. Each of the speakers will be allowed 3 minutes to speak, and there's a little timer up here, and I would appreciate it when your red light comes on if you would finish your sentence quickly. Thank you. Okay, first we have Priscilla Keene.
Hello, I'm I'm Priscilla Keene, and I am the Ridgeview High School Interact president.
I'm Tiffany Eby. I'm the Ridgeview High School Vice President of Interact Club.
And we're basically here because we wanted to let y'all know and kind of get exposure that we're hosting a volunteer opportunity in January 20th, and it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 1, and you will earn 8 hours of community service, and it's basically with Rise Against Hunger, and you basically package meals for people in need, and they Rise Against Hunger will send out those meals to the people in need, basically. And I just wanted to get exposure and just let y'all know, and if anybody from any other schools wanted to come, and it'll be in the cafeteria. Did you want to say anything? Okay. I last year went and came and talked about my own experience. I went to RILA, which was the Rotary Sunrise Club from Orange Park sent me there, and I don't know if y'all remember or not. Oh, okay. And I had a great time with my experience, and I think everybody from Clay County, adults and high schoolers, would enjoy it greatly. So, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. And a good plug for Rotary, too. I think we've got, what, 1, 2, 3 Rotarians and one's husband? You're a half. And a half. Okay. The next speaker, Rebecca Smith.
My name is Rebecca Smith, and my address is on file.
Okay.
I'd like to thank each and every one of you who came to transportation today. We enjoy seeing our board members interact with us here at transportation. It was, I think it went pretty good myself.
It was great.
I hope you enjoyed your time with us. I want to say I want to end this year on a good note. I want each and every one of you to have a good, safe Christmas. And may we always remember we're truly blessed to live in the nation that we live in. And I don't know, I was moved by the kids here tonight. Do you realize they're the future leaders of tomorrow? How awesome is that? To be able to inspire a child to dream to be the most he or she can be. That's pretty awesome. That's all I gotta say.
It was fun, Becky. We enjoyed that. And thank you for inviting all of us. The next speaker, Chris Trahan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Trahan, and my address is on file. A couple months ago, I spoke to the board, actually twice, regarding the textbook situation for world history and the problems that we're running into with the online, and actually wound up having a very productive conversation with Mr. Connor and Ms. Watt shortly after the second time I spoke to you guys, and they presented several possible solutions, and I was just curious as to where we are in implementing some of those solutions. So, thank you.
Okay. The next speaker, Suzanne Long. If you would state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Suzanne Long. My address is 3265 Crichton Lane, Fleming Island. Good evening, Superintendent Davis, school board members, parents, staff, and students of St. John's Classical Academy. First, I want to make it clear tonight that although I am in uniform, my statements are my own and are not on behalf of the United States Navy, but rather on behalf of my family, my community, and our school. Superintendent Davis, I am requesting you and your cabinet reconsider your decision to not allow St. John's Classical Academy to participate and compete in extracurricular activities as other schools in the district do. Tonight they were beautiful. We want the same for our children. This decision, as it stands, punishes the students of St. John's Classical Academy by not allowing them the same opportunity that you allow for the rest of the public school students in Clay County. This decision seems to have been made out of your personal bias against charter schools, even though they are public schools, and without consideration of Florida Statute 1002.20, Section 17, Charlie. I ask that you put yourself into our shoes. You, the same as me, have 2 daughters. And if you can imagine having to explain to them why they are not allowed to compete on a team to represent their school, the school who they proudly wear the colors for every single day, and that they may not be able to compete with their best friend because she may be districted to a different school. Based on your decision, I have to tell my little girls that they have to be part of a team and go to a school where they know no one. And when the times do not align between schools, and where frankly as a working mom, I may not be able to drive between different schools to allow my children the same opportunities as the other public districted schools have. And when my children ask me why, I have to explain to them because those who have been elected to lead the school district have made that decision. A decision that appears to not be based on data or with the best interests of the children in mind, but rather one that is made out of bias and a perceived benefit for those in the traditional public education system who have the narrow vision of only being able to see a value in a traditional public school. Superintendent Davis, I ask that you look back on your campaign statements in which you stated that you will ensure the district makes data-informed, child-centric decisions for Clay County Public Schools. St. John's Classical Academy is one of these districted schools, despite your comments that it is not part of your district, since you lack complete control over the school. Furthermore, you stated you wanted to lead the district to realize its true potential, that you wanted to take bold action to ensure the schools and educators have the support they need to propel student learning. How does blocking extracurricular activities for our children at their enrolled school meet this promise? In fact, you faulted the former superintendent for the same type of non-child-centric decisions that you are now making with your current stance against charter schools within your district. I'm asking you to be the leader you stated you would be when you campaigned for this position, to make the fair decision, the ethical decision, the best decision for my children and for all the students of St. John's Classical Academy. Thank you for your time and consideration.
The next speaker is ladies and gentlemen, let's refrain from interrupting the next speaker. Liam Nordeman.
Hello, my name is Liam Nordeman, and I am a 4th grader at St. John's Classical Academy. I want to comment on Mr. Davis's decision to prevent SJCA students from participating in district activities as an SJCA student. And like my brother, I won my class spelling bee. But with the new rule, the school level is the final stop for our spelling bee. Win or lose, tomorrow is the final day for SJCA students. I'm really disappointed in this. Even if I didn't win, I would like to be able to cheer on my classmates in the next level. I love going to SJCA, and I am proud to be a Clay County Public Charter School student. And if you haven't already heard this several times tonight, or even if you have, I hope you'll reconsider the decision. Thank you for listening.
You want to wait till they all...
Through the chair, I'm sorry, I don't mean to break momentum. Can I just have a minute to address
If you'd
Just-
like.
And I wasn't going to address those, because usually we don't,
You wanna wait till they-
the time is your time and we want to disrespect it, but I want to address this. First and foremost, Ms. Long, thank you for your service on this Remembrance Day. Thank you for what you do every single day for us in this country. On the other side, Liam, thank you for being courageous and coming up here. And I want to say this. So some mismessaging has taken place from the side of it. I have not in any way, shape, or form cease the interaction for Clay Classical Charter School to participate in activities such as Robotics Challenge, Spell and Bee, Science Fair, Tropicana Speech Contest. All those things you are actively welcome to participate under your umbrella. I have never once openly spoke against charter. I am for choice, but my job as superintendent is to make sure that Clay County district schools, brick and mortar schools in which I lead, to make them the most robust programs every single day. I've openly said that. But when it comes to talking about ceasing potential, Liam, if you are that winner, young man, you get a chance to move on with your pride, with your school, to go on to the next contest. I will never take away your ability to compete from a state level, from a regional level, and from a national level. You will always be involved in that process, okay? I just want to make sure that we understand that. Now, I will openly say this. There are some activities that we do internally for the 41 brick and mortar schools that I do manage, and we will continue to offer individuals who go to any private school or any charter school who want to participate in the brick and mortar schools that I lead. They will have to do so under the umbrella of the neighborhood school. That right now, I'm just openly telling you, that's our stance. We're in the process of having conversations continued with DOE, but we would never take away a state, regional, or national competition for your kids to participate. And I won't address that, let people have their time.
Okay, Reed Nordeman. I assume this is the brother. Yes, you are correct. Okay. Okay.
He may be the winner.
Okay. Hello, my name is Reed Nordeman, and I am a 5th grade student at St. John's Classical Academy. I would like to comment on Mr. Davis's recent decision to stop Clay County charter students from representing their school in district activities and competitions. This new rule will have a negative effect on all SJCA students. We will not be able to represent our school and show school spirit. I think this is unfair since it singles us out from other public schools in the county. For instance, I just won my class spelling bee, and our school competition is tomorrow. And I am discouraged to know that if I win at the school level, which happens tomorrow, that I will not be able to advance further. I believe the winners should be allowed to advance regardless of who wins or what school they came from. In any case, I am proud to be a Clay County Public Charter School student and simply want the same privilege to compete as any other Clay County Public School student. Please think again about the effect that your decision is going to have on me and my classmates, and I hope you'll reconsider. Thank you for your time.
And Reed, you will be able to participate in the spelling bee should you win tomorrow. Okay. Scott Nordeman.
My name is Scott Nordeman. I live at 1447 Greenway Place here on Fleming Island. And I'm the parent of those two that you just heard from. I'm a little confused, though, to hear what I just heard, because on during a charter school principals meeting during the week of November 6th, we were informed that a decision was made that charter students may only participate in district events and competitions representing their zone school and would not be allowed to participate representing the charter school that they attend. Can you just clarify yes or no on that?
Yes, to the chair, that is absolutely incorrect. I have Katie, Ms. Moeller, who leads the body of work and openly, what I just articulated was articulated in that.
Is there any restriction at all? Let me just ask it that way. Are we to be treated exactly the same as every other public school, or is there a difference?
And through the chair, I can speak to you off the record if you want to, because at this point, we don't usually, and disrespectfully, don't have interactions during this time.
I can appreciate that, but you opened it up to clarify.
I did, and I closed it as well. But I have no problem speaking to you after this meeting, or giving you my cell phone, or speaking to this young lady who will be able to have conversation with you about what actually transpired to that meeting.
Okay, so there certainly was a meeting, and I believe there is a miscommunication that we're obviously not going to solve right now because we can't get clarification. I would respectfully ask that you respond formally, though, to our principal who has sent you a letter and requested a response clarifying what this rule is. I believe that the decision, the way I've understood it, is actually contrary to state law, and it's very unfair to the students of St. John's Classical. The state law is very clear, and you heard from another parent earlier that cited it, 1002.20, section 17C. Let me read it for you. Charter school students who meet specified academic and conduct requirements are eligible to participate in extracurricular activities at the public school to which the student would be assigned or could choose to attend according to district school board policies, unless such activity is provided by the student's charter school. Now, St. John's Classical does provide a lot of these activities, and we certainly would want to participate at the district level for any activity that we provide. We would want to participate representing our school. As I understand it, we've already been denied participation for one of our academic teams at the district level. The second thing here, that I believe this decision basically, in effect, denies some students participation, and you heard it articulated earlier. Obviously, there are going to be cases where some students, if they have to go to their zone school in order to participate, that may be across county. St. John's Classical has students from all over the county. So having to drive means that they're going to miss rehearsals and practices and so forth. That, in effect, denies them the ability to participate. The third thing, and there are actually two major issues that are part of this. I believe the decision is inconsistent with past practices in the spirit of competition. Number one, private schools have participated in district activities in the past, and their students certainly represent their school. In fact, to give you an example, St. John's Country Day School, Annunciation Catholic, both participated in the spelling bee last year.
They do every year.
That's right. That's exactly my point. But again, from what I heard, we're not going to be able to do it. I would ask the board to put an agenda item for the next meeting to clarify this policy, because I don't believe it's clear today. So I would appreciate if you'd put an agenda item on to clarify the policy that all Clay County public school students, including those in charter schools, have the same rules for participation in district activities. Thank you.
I don't know. Joe Rogish?
Good evening. My name is Joe Rogish. I reside at 220 River Reach Road, Fleming Island, Florida. Good evening. I'm a proud parent of two outstanding St. John's Classical Academy students. When I received Principal Knapp's letter alerting us to Superintendent Davis's decision not to allow our students to compete in district extracurricular activities, I was pretty shocked, also concerned, because this decision seemed arbitrary and stands to negatively impact my children's educational experience. So I did what I do every day. I started to investigate. First, I looked at you, Superintendent Davis. I looked at your campaign promises and found them reflected in your official bio on oneclay.net. I saw that you believe in, quote, putting students' best interests in the heart of all decision-making, end quote. I just don't understand how blocking SJCA students from competing against other schools and extracurriculars is against those students' best interest. Next, I considered your motive. All right, all I could come up with is that you're a controlist who's afraid of competition. You want to be able to take credit for students' achievements. You don't want a public charter school making regular public schools look bad. You don't want talented students and involved parents, because you can't have a great school without involved parents, making regular public schools look bad. You believe that the public school monopoly on education is what's best for our kids. We think different. History's shown, Superintendent Davis, that monopolies give you two things: high prices and a lackluster product. So next I started talking to people, and I received information that you made this decision personally without consulting with the school board. And I also learned that you feel it's your job to recruit kids back from the charter schools into the brick and mortar public schools, which I'd like to point out, Classical Academy is a brick and mortar school. I think you're misusing that term. Then lastly, I examined the Florida state statutes that apply to this. You've already heard the one statute, but I'm going to go ahead and throw down subparagraph 18, Florida State Statute 1002.20, subparagraph 18, extracurricular activities. Subparagraph E, discrimination prohibited. Organizations that regulate or govern extracurricular activities of public schools shall not discriminate against any eligible student based on an educational choice of public, private, or home education. You, Superintendent Davis, are violating Florida law by discriminating against the St. John's Classical Academy students based on their parents' educational choice of a public charter school. I would encourage the school board to take action on this matter in the strongest terms possible. Thank you for your time.
The next speaker is Brian Lowe, L-O-W.
Good evening, Superintendent Davis and Clay County School Board. Tonight I come before you like...
Would you state your address for the record, please?
Not a problem. My address, 2728 Creekfront Drive, Green Cove Springs, Florida, 32043. Tonight I come before you to reconsider that decision, as you've heard all the parents here tonight. First of all, let me put it this to you. Clay County is growing daily, and we are a part of the 5th fastest growing city in the nation, Jacksonville. It is coming east. I understand Clay County School District sets policy in the public schools and determines how they are implemented. However, I feel that the charter schools are being misrepresented by the Clay County School District and are ultimately seen as taking away jobs, money from the district, irrespectively of their quality. St. John Classical Academy is a 5013 nonprofit status and is associated with 2 other successful charter schools in South Florida who are both A-rated. Approximately a year ago, I asked you, Mr. Davis, during your election, what was your priority? My job is to bring children back to the public school system. It is important to note that, irrespectively of your statement, the board chose to accept St. John's Classical Academy and Clay Charter Academy as a regular school within the district. The motivation at the time was to increase parents' choice in Clay County. Tonight, I feel the current decision only to allow charter schools to participate in events only with their zone school is based purely on the Clay County Education Association's pressure on the board. The CCA position has been previously noted on their blog site, which is now private when it used to be public, and stated that St. John's Classical Academy and any charter school were big mistakes as a part of outgoing Superintendent Van Zandt, because it created loss of jobs, money, and resulted in lower school and district grades from the Florida Department of Education. Another blog site also stated Jack's Kids Matter said something the same. We as parents chose to have our children over public school. A charter school is nothing but a different kind of public school. Depriving our children of social activities just because it's apparently not the right kind of public school is because theoretically it takes away jobs are plain wrong and unfair and not based on any facts. Until politics are removed from our classrooms and the children will be the ones who will be deprived of excellent social and academic programs, whether public school or private or the charter system. With this said, I ask that for the children's sake to consider and to appeal the rest of the board here to set a policy that includes without limitation to allow charter school students and families to set the same opportunities as all other district schools, because St. John's Classical Academy and Clay Charter are Clay County public schools.
The next speaker is Craig Wells.
Thank you. Greg Wells, 5333 Deer Island Road. I had a bunch of different remarks. I'm going to change them because I think everybody's covered, similar statements. But I appreciate the attempt to clarify maybe a misunderstanding. I don't think it went far enough, and I think part of it was an attempt to maybe sidestep which is included, which is not included. It appears that maybe certain activities might be okay, maybe as an individual, certain team, maybe not. I think the statute is clear. I think that the superintendent has not followed state law, and I think it's our job as parents to call you out on that. So I'm going to go through a couple of notes I made, but I think Ms. Long said it best when we started off. Just, there's a lot of passionate pleas about this. Obviously, there's a great deal of confusion that came out of this principals meeting. There's a great deal of confusion, and we're asking the school board to clarify this. Simply, we just want the statute to be followed. Not selectively put personal bias and political bias into this. I saw these kids. How can you not watch these kids and smile? But yet, some kids are more equal than other kids, I guess. This school is a new school. I don't understand the distinction between brick and mortar. This is not an online academy. This is a real school. These things need to be afforded to these kids. And so what I'm going to ask of the board, and I don't know if procedurally it can be done tonight, is someone to make a motion to overrule Superintendent Davis and allow this to happen to these kids to be able to participate as their school and represent their school, not only individual but in team. And also take this a step further and inquire into this behavior and what looks to be a blatant disregard for Florida statute. Okay, thank you.
Okay, that ends all of our speaker cards. Next, we have the adoption of the consent agenda. There were no items pulled. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Ms. Bola, a second by Ms. Condon. I'm having trouble with last names tonight. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0.
Did your vote button come up? Not yet.
Did your vote thing come up? Here we go.
There it
Okay. Next, we have the CCEA update. Renali Paiva.
Good evening, Renali Paiva, President of the Clay County Education Association. Until tonight, I didn't even know that we had a controversy going on. So the CCEA's official speech tonight is Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Ramadan, Happy Kwanzaa. That was a Kwanzaa. And I hope you all enjoy your vacation. Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you too. And next we have the CESPA update. Teresa Dixon. Is Teresa here tonight? Okay. Okay. Superintendent's update and presentations. Don't tell me you've got a movie.
Yes, ma'am. Before I do my presentation this evening, I want to do two recognitions for Champions of Change. I'm going to go down here and speak to it, and then I'll go through the presentation for my statements this evening.
You're on the clock.
I'm on the clock.
Go down here. Oh, here's it.
Okay, so every year we have a chance to acknowledge and celebrate a principal that exhibits great behavior within this organization. And this is, we get to identify the principal of the year. At the same time, we get to identify an assistant principal of the year for our county. This year, we have the opportunity to acknowledge a leader that has been, as principal of the year, that has been in education for 25 years and has been in Clay County 10 years as a highly effective administrator and has done tremendous things to create and change the culture academically, socially, emotionally at Ridgeview Elementary School in the last 3 years. With her Mission Possible theme and her can-do attitude, they've done a lot of great work in this school. And as last year, if you paid attention to our academic movement, this school made the greatest gains within Clay County as they had 130-point gain on FSA last year in K-6. And that, you can clap for that because that is awesome work by this individual. This individual had, they had the highest gains in Clay County, moving from 406 points eligible to 540 and moving this school to an A school. This individual prides herself on improving teaching and learning. This individual has taken the lead with the work as we talk about STEAM initiatives, has dedicated her time and her energies through robotics, making certain that we have critical thinkers, problem solvers, coding, and truly have an opportunity for kids to participate in project-based learning. It is my honor tonight to introduce and acknowledge the Principal of the Year for Clay County. That is Miss Tracy McLaughlin. Thank you. Thank you for what you do for our kids every day. At the same time, we get an opportunity to acknowledge an assistant principal who is focused on improving teaching and learning and works tremendously, not only with our community, but with our kids and our faculty and our staff members in one of our local high schools. This individual is a third year at Orange Park Senior High School. This individual has taken on the lead of ELA instruction within the organization, really is focused on building the capacity of all of our teachers, has done great work with running the PLCs at Orange Park Senior High School, and really is focused on improving student growth, especially for kids who are 2 or more years behind. This individual works rigorously at their school with their staff. He is appreciated, and from our standpoint, we are excited about his future within this county. In addition, he was selected to be a part of the Emerging Leaders Program, which would be a rigorous program in order to put assistant principals in front of the greatest case studies, the greatest interaction, and the greatest curriculum in order to prepare them to become a suitable, prepared, ready, mentally and intellectually principal in this school district. And it's my pleasure to acknowledge Justin Faulkner as the Assistant Principal of the Year. And I want to thank Mr. Anderson for the work he's doing with building the capacity of our leaders in order for us to have a true, solid succession management plan. Before I go on this, tonight I just want to touch base on the State of the Schools address. Coming in January, I'm going to do a State of the School, and tonight I just wanted to introduce this concept to the board and also to the community and let you know about what our next steps will be and how this State of the School address will take place. As a leader, I know that my reflection and my evaluation doesn't come until every 4 years. and I hold myself accountable, and this is a way for me to demonstrate my accountability to the community and give a self-reflection of where we are in the last year, at the same time give a status of our school district in order for the community, our stakeholders and our board and our business partners and faith-based partners truly understand the direction where we were, where we are, and where we're going, so that we can begin to have open the dialogue for figuring out what's working, what's not, and what we can do differently within the school district. So let's see if I can turn this on. So tonight, the purpose of this presentation is to do a preview of the State of Schools address. We'll talk about the purpose, the important elements, the time and location, and projected outcomes that we expect from this State of the School initiative. This will ultimately be a year in review for us, and as I said, it's a way for us to reflect on our practice, a way for us to problem solve and decision make in order to grow and move this organizational forward. We will look at all of our accomplishments, and I've listed a couple of accomplishments that we will be able to speak to, but it will not be limited to this list. We'll look at our processes and our systems and processes that we've put in place in the last calendar year. We'll look at the curriculum side by side, our professional learning opportunities. We'll look at student achievement data from every facet and every angle. We'll look at the partnerships that the educational consultants that we may have partnered with and what type of impact and return on investment we've had with them. We've also will look at how we've developed our anchor academies and figure out the ultimate decision of whether or not they've been effective and what we're doing for industry certification. And then we'll look at our technology upgrades to figure out what we've done and how we've accomplished it. In addition to that, when we talk about accomplishments, we will always speak to areas of opportunity. We'll look at the social, emotional health. We believe that would be the next step for our school district to really define and not only work academically, but work to develop the whole child. We'll look at teacher and leadership academies, how we have been effective. Do we have a succession management plan? Do we have true professional learning opportunities? We'll look at how we can get better from a stakeholder, constituent, community involvement standpoint. And then we'll look at our strategic plan as we move forward, as we look to seek to develop it with me and the board in order for us to move forward as a collective unit with short-term and long-term goals for this organization. And then we'll look at internal choice programming. What are we offering? Is it attractive to the community? And what we can do in order to continue to increase enrollment within our school district. At the same time, we'll look at next steps. We will figure out what's a better way for us to greater support our first educators, which are our parents. We'll look at greater opportunities for publicly recognizing best practices, not only within our schools and within our school district, but throughout the community and the state of Florida and this region. And then we'll look at having a clear vision for where are we going in order to have a clear goal-based management system for what we're trying to accomplish as an organization. As we look at my self-assessment, my self-reflection, we'll look at the instructional focus. Is what we do and what I brought to the table in reference from a curriculum standpoint, is it actually working? And if not, do we need to selectively abandon, or do we need to do a deeper dive and provide greater supports? Do we look at the effectiveness of our walkthroughs to ensure that we are walking through to build the capacity of our teachers and our leaders in our classrooms versus having a top-down approach telling individuals what to do and how to do it, but be more reflective in that practice and being an instructional coach for our teachers to work side by side? And then looking at our overall performance of our schools, what can we do in order to help them enhance their abilities and skill sets in order to improve teaching and learning? We'll look at student outcomes, as I said before, with FSA, EOC data sets. We'll look at graduation. We'll look at college-ready, ACT, SAT participation. We'll look at IB accelerated ACE participation as well to see if we're increasing in every subgroup and every subset within our district. And then we'll look at our discipline data as well, determine whether or not the systems we have in place are ultimately being effective. And then the bottom line, we need to do a greater and better job under my leadership, and I acknowledge this. We have to focus on the achievement gaps, identifying where the achievement gaps currently sit, and what can we do and ultimately to eliminate those achievement gaps so that every student is reaching and meeting grade level expectations, but at the same time having accelerated opportunities as well to be successful. And then we'll look at our culture. What kind of culture are we creating within this school district? What are we creating within the community? What are we creating from a stakes perspective? And then we'll look at it. We'll triangulate multiple conversations through survey data, through conversations, through dialogue with Davis, through community meetings that I've been to and staff have been to and teachers have been to, in order to figure out where we're going from a cultural standpoint. Ultimately, I had to show this shirt. I went to a school, and this is one of the shirts. It says, "Sorry, homework, I'm all booked up," and he's got Monday through Sunday, and he's got game systems every single day. I thought it was the coolest shirt ever, but this kid, he's like, "I'm not doing all this stuff." But ultimately, what is our target audience? We want to make sure that the target audience is everyone who is involved, actively engaged in our community and the educational system. That's each of you, our school board, our community, our local and state representatives, and our officials. At the same time, we're looking at our educational partners and support teams, looking at community stakeholders, family, students, and faculty and staff will be opened and invited to this opportunity. What are our goals? Ultimately, we want to look at an annual report to figure out, and for us to have an annual assessment to determine whether or not we're being ultimately effective, and also to look at the direction of the district if we're being successful, so we can self-reflect, and then look at acknowledgement of our partners in education to acknowledge their work, and also look at better understanding what the community would like us to do in order to get better as we dive deeper into the educational process. And so projected date, these are projected dates as now. We will announce this in the next 2 weeks so we can have a hard concrete date. But we hope to see everyone on it. Right now it's slated to be on January 18th at the Thrasher Horn. We will put this out there so it's a kind of a save the date kind of deal. We'll have a formal invitation that goes out to the community, that goes out to everyone, so that you can actively attend, and we will do this Facebook Live as well, so that if you can attend, that you'll be able to see and interact. But ultimately, I want you to know is that we're not waiting 4 years. I will hold myself accountable every single year to what we do, so that we can continue to show that we're moving the needle, and then we will be able to, if we're not moving the needle in certain aspects, we'll sit back and we reflect, and we'll make these adjustments as often as we can in order to create the best experiences for our kids in Clay County District Schools. That's it. You don't need a clap. You don't need a clap. That's it. No need a clap.
I have to get my southern ears on high speed to keep up with this one.
2 slides tonight. You'd be happy about that.
Thank you for that. That was our Christmas gift. Okay. Discussion items D1, 2018 legislative priorities. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
I just wanted to comment, I really like the format. I think it's concise and clear, and it's a good ask.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the supporting documentation was very strong as well. Thank you.
Very good, yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Next is Human Resources.
I did.
Okay.
Gilhousen.
Ms. Gilhousen made the motion and Ms. Bola seconded. And I guess we better vote. I did not vote. Just a minute. All right, I didn't vote on the computer. There we go. Okay. The next item is Human Resources Special Action A. I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Condon and a second by Ms. Karakas. Is that correct? No discussion on this. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. It hasn't come up to vote yet. It hasn't come up. Oh, here we go. Okay. Next is Human Resources Special Action B. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Bola, second by Ms. Condon. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. School board attorney remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to weigh in briefly with respect to the charter school participation in extracurricular activities. And it isn't properly placed before the board such that, it's on an agenda. When things are placed on an agenda, public comment, it draws public comment, typically from 2 or more sides, okay? If and when it comes before the board, I'm sure that we will hear different points of view. I'm always intrigued when I hear folks say that the statutes are clear. The statutes are clear. I know that statutes are typically written by other lawyers who happen to be legislators. And statutes are not always very clear, and I'm not sure that things were properly characterized tonight or fairly characterized. I still do not quite know specific facts and specific programs that we're talking about, and I heard comments on messaging. Let me just state this. I'll be happy to work with the superintendent and with the board to generate hopefully a mutually acceptable result, if not a mutually understood result. This is not a unique problem to this county. There are different practices across the entire state. And school board attorneys are trying to work with, as mentioned by the superintendent, the DOE for guidance, and essentially the DOE gives you a mirror and says, you figure it out, school districts. Now, I've not had the time to unpack the facts at hand or deeply analyze the law on this, but I will give you a bit of a preview that, in my view, the statutes that apply, some of them have been mentioned, 1002.33 sub 11, 1002.20 sub 18 sub C, and then finally 1006.15 sub 3D. Now, here's what I draw from them. I actually see the statutes as being restrictive toward charter school participation in extracurriculars, and let me tell you why. I'm just looking at the language of the statute, which was accurately restated by a number of speakers tonight, and if you listen closely, we're talking about the eligibility of individual students. The legislature made it clear in these statutes that they're talking about charter school students. They also, and then in other of these sections, the legislature speaks of individual charter school students and repeats that term. And it's repeated in all of these sections: participation through the zone school, if the activity isn't provided at the charter school, and if a number of other conditions are met. To me, that is restrictive. I am not here to tell you I have finally and conclusively determined that. In fact, after I look more deeply into this, I may come to this board and report that, we're still waiting to hear more guidance from DOE, or there's legislation in the pipeline that will provide specific guidance on this. I can tell you from my discussions with other school board attorneys on these matters, and the expenses that are associated with charter school and public school district relations, there's a 5% cap that the school district must adhere to when it comes to expenses of the school district in serving charter schools, and a number of school districts, particularly with a lot of charter schools, get to a point where they are way in excess of that 5% overhead charge, and it becomes a financial concern, in some instances a very acute concern. So this is a moving target. I just wanted to provide those remarks here, and I'll look forward to working with the superintendent and his leadership and the community and the board to resolve the issues.
Did you want to respond to say anything to Mr. Daggett's talk? I'll give you a chance. No? Okay. You're not on here. Oh. You don't have any more remarks. You're not on the agenda.
Yeah,
Come on and talk.
Yeah, through the chair, I'll speak through it. I appreciate it. We'll continue to work, and someone mentioned a letter that was sent in reference to better understanding our decision, or my decision as the leader of this organization. The reason response has not been extended to the classical charter leadership team is because I've been working rigorously with staff and DOE, and Ms. Moeller can contest to that. I mean, to the end of the date, to us, like, do we have final answers or resolutions? I read it the same way that Mr. Daggett reads. And openly, I'll tell this community, as I said and reiterated, I have never spoken openly against charter. I want parents to figure out their best choice of where they want to send their kids. It's their right, their prerogative. It is my job as a leader of this organization is to create the greatest, most robust programming and academic instructional outlook that kids want to come to our schools. And you can say, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, charter school is under the umbrella of Clay County District Schools. And to the point, but however, you got to understand, Addison Davis does, in this board, does not manage this school. And I said it openly. We don't select leadership. We don't select teachers. We don't select the curriculum. We don't set budgets. We don't tell them how to spend their money. Okay, but we are here for supports. We always will be here for supports. And I hope I see Liam up there in our regional spelling bee to compete. I want the best for every kid. I said that openly. And I'm open to healthy competition every single day. Every day I'm excited about competition, regardless if that's internal or external. My job is to do the best I can for every student every single day. So at this stage, we'll continue to move forward, and I'll continue to seek direction from DOE.
And thank you. And Mr. Daggett, I know the board would appreciate your digging into this and really giving us and you have a connection with all of the school board attorneys throughout the state, and dig into this and give the board some. I can't see you for Mr. Daggett.
It's a challenging layout here.
Yeah, we would appreciate the board being made aware of what you find and from what you find from other school board attorneys.
Absolutely, I'll make sure of that.
Okay, thank you. What is he doing?
You're going to bring some fun to this meeting.
All right, go for it.
Thank you.
This is your last try. This is your last try. Next thing you know, he's going to be doing those.
Oh yeah. No, I've got it. It's got cupcakes.
He made the. What do they call? They're called circus peanuts. I didn't know what he was talking about. He spoke of them at Rotary yesterday, or Tuesday when he spoke to our club. And so I went all over town and I found circus peanuts. I had to Google first to find out what they were. But they're those orange things with the marshmallow inside that's all... Oh. That's off track. Okay. School board member remarks. Now, last time I started with you. All right, Ms. Karakas. I'll go this way and then come back around.
I don't really have any remarks. Just
You can hardly talk.
Just wish everybody a safe and happy holiday. Merry Christmas all. Happy New Year.
Hope you feel better soon. Ms. Condon?
Okay. I will start on a negative note and end on a positive note. So clearly I'm behind the curve because it was pretty obvious to me that some board members were aware of a lot more of what was going on with our speakers tonight than I was.
You mean
There-
about the charter school?
Yes.
I didn't know anything was going on. I didn't have a clue.
I heard one comment out in the audience tonight before we started the meeting, but otherwise, so I would like to request through the chair that the board be given, there were pieces of paper being held up and things like that. I would appreciate the board being given all documentation that's been provided to charters. If there were minutes taken at that principals meeting, I'd like to further understand. I would like to say that while we have all acknowledged that we are conducting the school board business in the public, it's not a public meeting, we have a public comment period. And I was embarrassed tonight because while we had speakers that were speaking to us at our podium that only get 3 minutes, there was whispering going on within up in this half of the room, and I think that's disrespectful. We've all agreed that we would listen to our speakers, whether we agree with them or not, whether they are pro what we are supporting or not, and I think we should challenge ourselves to be more respectful of that, even if we don't like what they're saying or if they're saying something completely incorrect. It's not our time to speak. So I would appreciate that we do that. I do think that I would like to recognize, Mr. Davis, you made a comment toward it earlier, Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day is today. We thank all of our service members for their service. And I did enjoy, I think Miss Becky's still here. I really enjoyed the transportation Christmas party. This was the first year I had been invited. I guess I could have crashed it earlier, but I didn't know that it was going on. But I did enjoy that time, and so I appreciate that invitation. And it was nice to be able to speak to all of the employees who were there. And I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and all the other holidays that go on over our long holiday break. And I would challenge you that my heart is heavy at times when we're celebrating, because I do know that there's a whole lot of our kids who are going to be alone all day at home when mom and dad have to work and may not have enough to eat. So if you know of someone in that situation, if you can help out, even if you can just drop a quarter in that Salvation Army kettle, your heart will be warmed with the season of giving. And I appreciate serving this county and giving of my time to give back for our students. We got to see employees today and some of our students today, and what a joy that is. And so with that, I'll just say have a great holiday season.
Mrs. Stutter, can I ask a question? Ms. Condon just requested documentation of a principals meeting. Mr. Davis, were you at that meeting?
Through the chair, no, let me do two things.
I think I'm confused. Could you explain to us?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I'm going to tell you, I was guilty of asking Ms. Stutter the name of Mrs. Long and the name of Liam. So, I mean, I wanted to address them personally. So if I offended someone by me asking the names, that's kind of where I'm at. In reference to a principals meeting, we have a monthly principals meeting every month with charter schools so that we can stay on top and assist them with any process that we have. This meeting was through, you want to go ahead? You can go ahead out there. Katie Moeller drives our work through charters along with Karen McMillan. So I'll let Ms. Moeller speak. But we have monthly meetings to problem solve and assist and provide direction.
Through the chair, we do not have monthly meetings with the charter schools. It's quarterly.
Okay, sorry.
And there was a quarterly meeting of 3 charter school principals with our charter school specialist.
Okay,
And
excuse me.
that's the reference that is being made.
Through the chair, do you want to speak to what we cover, those kind of conversations?
We have the agenda, and we'd be glad to share it with the entire board.
Yeah.
Be glad to.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Gilhousen.
Well, so I'm with you, Ms. Condon. I was aware of this as a parent of SJCA students. However, as a board member, I was never notified. I've never had a conversation with Mr. Davis about this either. I don't have any information any more than you do besides what I've received as a parent. It seems to me that there's a lot of, I don't think misunderstanding is the word. I think everybody understands where we all stand. I think the issue is that there's not clarity that's been provided to SJCA, but also
I think the parents have made their stance pretty clear, but I don't think that we've made ours very clear. So if a board policy is what we need to do that, then I think that's something that is our responsibility as a board, to give parents a standard of expectation of what we're willing to provide. Now, I understand Mr. Daggett's concerns about the 5% cap, but I'm not real sure how that would affect us, seeing that we have 2 charter schools, and the competitions we're talking about, I don't know that they would necessarily incur an extra expense to the district to allow charter schools to compete. So I think that within your opinion, your legal opinion, I don't know if maybe we need to refer to Dr. Legutko, but to get a cost analysis on that and why we would be concerned that it would exceed the 5% cap. But ultimately, I think what I'm most disappointed in is that this conversation feels very us and them. And it shouldn't be that way. St. John's Classical Academy, Clay Charter Academy, they're part of us. We're one school district. And it makes my heart heavy that we have an entire school full of parents and children and teachers and administrators and support staff who feel like they've been picked on by the school district. And I think that at the very least we need to do a better job of communication and expressing our support for all of our schools and all of our students. On a lighter note, we've really been able to enjoy some great celebrations within the district at Christmas parties and holiday parties throughout the schools, and it's always a joy to do that with the children. I think that we all gleaned a lot from FSBA this last week, and it was a great team building time for us as a board and with the superintendent. So anyway, looking to better things, bigger and better things in the next school year, or in the next year.
Ms. Bola.
Thank you. I just wanted to do a quick update on the Clay County Education Foundation. The grant applications for teachers who are watching now or teachers who are in the audience, grant applications most likely will be coming out in December and January, the $500 grants. So if you have ideas of things that you would like to implement in your classrooms, by all means fill out those applications. They currently have close to $50,000 in their coffers from places like Amazon, AT&T, Wells Fargo, Bethesda Microfarms, Mosh, Motorola, STEM2 Hub, and as close to all of our hearts, in memory of Carol Valancourt, who was one of our former school board members. So as those come out, make sure you hit the deadline and apply. Last year we were able to award grants to, I believe, everyone who applied for a $500 grant, which is huge. I don't believe we'll be able to do that again this year if even more people apply, but they are gearing up for that and for the Teacher of the Year celebration that's coming up. Also, all of this, there's been a lot going on in November and just this first week of December, and I needed to do shout-outs. One of my first shout-outs is to the students at Miss Noble's class at Argyle Elementary. Thank you for inviting me to do Fun Friday with you. It was a blast, and anytime I can get into a classroom, whether it's to assist a teacher or read to the class or do whatever, you know I will be there with bells on. So please feel welcome to invite. And thank you to the following for opening up their doors and showing us around. I worked with Miss Ayers. I guess you had a principals meeting. You were talking about your monthly principals meeting. And I hit a couple of the schools on that day. So I was with the assistant principals, which was it was fun. They had the same enthusiasm that the principals had. Miss Ayers at SBJ, thank you very much, and once again, congratulations on your 50th anniversary celebration to SBJ. Also at Patterson Elementary, Miss Van took me around. It was a hoot. We had a blast and got to meet all sorts of teachers and watch what the children were doing. Lots of concerts in the last month, the Veterans Day concert at St. John's Classical Academy, and the day and the celebration was fun. Thank you for inviting me, and it was really cool going around and meeting lots of students at their classrooms. That was a very interesting tour with your principal, so thank you. Also, Doctors, Inlet Elementary, and concerts at Argyle Elementary, Tyne, St. John's Classical, Oakleaf Village, and Christmas concerts at Oakleaf Junior High School coming up again Friday night. And also tonight, I'm sorry I missed the Ridgeview High School concert, but those invitations are very much appreciated, and thank you. I think I've covered them all. I said they would be shout-outs, and I tried to get as many shout-outs there as I possibly could. I'm sorry I was not able to be at the community meeting Tuesday night at Discovery Oaks Elementary. I did watch the video, and if anyone has not seen that video, it's available on YouTube. Interesting comments, interesting suggestions, a catwalk and things of that nature. I was like, whoa.
That's too bad.
But it was, I mean, it really was thinking outside the box, and I thought it's awesome that the community gets as involved as they do, and it's wonderful. And any comments, questions before that vote comes up, I believe in January you mentioned, it would be very welcomed as well. And as Ms. Paiva said, I had them listed. I missed Happy Ramadan. I had the Kwanzaa, the Hanukkah. Hanukkah, I believe, comes first. Anyway, but Merry Christmas to all of you and Happy Holidays with whatever you celebrate. Thank you.
I'm sorry, can I add one more thing before?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I did want to ask, I know I mentioned my interest in a potential policy review about charter schools and how we handle competition. Is that something that you as a board are interested in taking up?
Ms. Gilhousen, I think it would be premature right now. I think the first thing for us to do is let Mr. D'Agata and
I just wanted to let the public know where we are on that so that we're not.
I don't think we need to put it in the policy. First, we've got to make sure exactly what the law says before we think about policy. I think we'd be jumping the gun right now.
Sure, but we're taking up policy, I believe, in January. Is that correct?
But we don't want to create policy until we're sure what the state law says, because that trumps us.
I understand that. I'm looking at the timeline and wondering where you guys would fall on looking at it. I mean, if we're taking up our the first section of our policy that deals with board rule, I don't know where in our policy handbook something like this would fall, I guess is what I'm trying to.
We'll get it in the right section once we get to that point. I just think we've got to take a deep breath and let them do their work first. And
I would think it would fall under instructional. So if we're not at instructional yet, then it would not fall under that. Sorry, I've got a little. But I would say that we only need a policy if we're going to do something more stringent than state law, or if we feel like we haven't expressed something that we don't need. I don't fully understand the issue. I've heard different things said tonight, so I think the first thing the board needs is to really fully understand what the stance the school district took, and is that the stance the board wants to take, and then that's for us to then decide. And I understand there's time frames that we're dealing with here for school, but we have a constitutional responsibility to do it the right way, and we can't craft policy when we don't fully understand the issue. It is our policy to own, and I agree with that, and I think that we should, but we have to make sure that we're crafting policy that is what we want it to say, and we don't need to have a policy that isn't applicable. Mm-hmm. And that's what I fear if we rush it and try to get it on the January agenda. I understand that the January agenda review is next week, but that's not within the 7 days that the agenda has to be published. So in the event that this board feels like, I did want to say, Ms. Studdard, that I believe it was Mr. Wells had asked if we could act tonight, and the answer is no. We can only act, for the public's knowledge, we can only act in the event of an emergency situation. This doesn't qualify. That would be like in the event of a hurricane and we need to move a school to a different school or something like that. So I understand the urgency.
It's not about urgency for me. I just want to set the expectation so that I don't ever want to be perceived as pushing something off. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No matter what the issue is. So I wanted to set the expectation for when they could expect a decision, because I think that's a big part of the issue is they feel like it's been left to dangle without clarity.
And through the chair, I do believe it's premature, and from the end of the day, we're going to work rigorously. I have been. I mean, this hasn't sat on my desk, so know that. We have been, when we made this stance, I think a couple weeks ago, and we received the letter, we have been working with DOE, I've been working with Mr. D'Agata, I've been working with Karen McMillan, I've been working with Katie Moeller, in order to make certain, to see what our surrounding counties do. What does this statute, which is very vague, say what they're allowed to do and not allowed to do? What is it my job to do as superintendent? All those things. So I'll give you some information, and then I will work with legal to determine what our next steps will be, and then you can determine your next steps. But know that no one's sitting on it. No one's pressing the pause button. Everyone's working hard to make certain we make a sound and correct decision that for all parties.
May I ask one quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
The spelling bee is coming up in January, and I know that they are just now starting to plan for that. And Ms. Studdard, you had said that we've had enunciation, we've had
St. John's Country Day School enunciation, they participate in the spelling bees.
Right,
yes.
and you've indicated that that St. John Classical Academy will be able to participate, so they'll be getting the information, right?
So through the chair, yes, ma'am.
Just so that these gentlemen know.
Yeah, through the chair, I'm sorry there's been miscommunication and misunderstanding, which really it is. It's a misunderstanding, because I'm fully confident what my staff articulated, because it's the same message I said tonight that I've said multiple times to my staff about what can and cannot be done in participation of it. We have not excluded any kid from participating, and the school will offer many activities, and if they don't offer activities and a kid wants to participate in sports, they're more than welcome to go to the home school to participate in that sport if the classical doesn't have it, or any private institution doesn't have it. But it relates to I'm sorry that parents came and spoke about spelling bee when they have the luxury and the opportunity to compete. Same thing with robotics. I said about speech contest, science fair. Those are all things that kids are going to be able to participate in under their umbrella, under their logo, so they can have pride with it within their school. So,
can I ask a question? Because I'm not trying to poke, really, I'm not.
No.
But I'm confused. I'm confused as to how you've made a stance on what they can and can't participate in if we don't fully understand the statutes and from DOE. I mean, I'm very confused. I know I've participated in judging. I've gone to the spelling bee, and I've participated in judging the science fair, and I know other schools have participated in those. But I guess I'm just confused as to how you have directed staff, but then no one seems to really know, because I know the statute doesn't go through and say they can do science fair, they can do spelling bee. I know it doesn't do that, so I guess that's where I'm confused.
Yeah, so through the chair, I'm really not confused on the statute. That's why I made the stance. So to read, the statute clearly says charter school students eligible to participate in interscholastic extracurricular activity through public school in which a student would be otherwise assigned to attend to pursuant 106.153D. So, I mean...
Wait, you didn't read the rest of that.
It said 3D.
No, but you didn't read the rest of that statement. It says they can participate in their zone school unless it's offered by their charter school.
To attend pursuant...
He read it tonight.
Otherwise assigned. This is what I have. At the end of the day, we can have multiple conversations about this. I'll give you all the information you need in order to make an informed decision, as I always do through my follow-up, and then we can dive deeper into it to discussion. I'll also talk to like I said, Mr. D'Agata.
Well, I guess it sounds like mine and Ms. Condon's question is, what is your stance?
I've said it more.
Yeah,
I think I've said it more.
Ms. Gilhousen, let's please give them a chance to go back and have Mr. D'Agata look at the legalities of it, and then if Mr. Davis has a different thing to say than he has said in the past, we can talk about it then, but this is not the night. We're not going to solve anything here tonight.
I'm not trying to solve anything.
But it just seems like somebody is trying, I want to talk. Everybody else has talked. Can I talk now? Sure. May I talk now? Again, I've asked Mr. D'Agata to please research this legally. He can push a button and hear from every attorney and school board attorney in the state of Florida. I think that's going to help us. Mr. Davis has had experience with charter schools. We really haven't. We've had limited experience, and this, to the best of my knowledge, in the one that closed and the one out off Brandon Field, I don't remember this ever coming up as a problem, but it seems that everybody needs to take a deep breath and slow down a minute. I get really nervous and not happy when I hear people disparaging other people from the podium. I don't like, Mr. Davis wouldn't do that to a person, but to stand here and say, you know, he's breaking the law and this and that, I mean, that is not necessary. We're adults, and everybody needs to just take a deep breath, let them research it, and then we'll talk about it next month, okay? Or we've got the agenda review, if you've got more to say about it then, but I think we have beat it to death enough tonight. I think everybody wants to go home and have Christmas. Okay, let me say another thing. I wanted to know an update on the District Advisory Committee. Ms. Dennis, you had sent the board an email that there were, what, four? And
4 applicants.
Have you gotten any more since then?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, we have a problem with this, because each board member is supposed to have, what, a secondary parent, an elementary parent, a community?
Yes, 1 elementary parent, 1 secondary parent, and 1 community member.
And you've only got 4 who have applied to be on this committee?
Correct.
So, and the deadline is?
The deadline was November 30th.
November 30th, okay. So, board?
Can I ask you a question about that? When we had our accreditation team come in, it was one of the recommendations that we didn't have enough community input. And so we came up with the idea of having this district advisory committee, which really over the last 2 years, they've never once brought a report to us. Is there another form of community input that we can have without this district advisory committee? Maybe we could dissolve it and have, use the SAC committees or something like that. You recommended reaching out to SAC parents. It seems like nobody wants to sit on this committee. And then for the last 2 years, like I said, we had not one remark, comment, question, update. I mean, nothing. So I would hate to think that we're wasting people's time. So is there another format that we could, and maybe someone could go back and look at what was written in the accreditation review and tell us, is it required or was it just a recommendation?
They criticized us.
I honestly don't remember what it said.
Not having it.
But there could be another format of having community input without having to have this committee that nobody wants to sit on.
How about we let you investigate?
Well, I know I've had conversations as well with school board attorney as well that we were going to look into that, because when you look into the statute with DAC as a committee, it is actually referencing more of your SAC committees for the ones to give the input.
Okay.
So could you come back with a new plan for us?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll see if we can do better. That's been one of those things that's just kind of been dangling out there, and I thought, well, we need to talk about it because we have 4 people who volunteered. Okay. So she'll bring something better back to us. And Mr. Davis, the redistricting meeting that you held was very, very good. I like the format of the people writing their questions on cards, and then Mr. Connor read the question, and it went really well. There have been many redistricting that have happened in the school district over the last several years, and this was the smoothest that I think that we will have. There didn't seem to be really any pushback from any parents. They were very concerned about the traffic and the red light and the crossing guards. So you did good. We can't do the catwalk. Too bad Miss Brown is gone, so that was her suggestion. Okay. I do think that we all, me included, we need to have more communication. I did not have any idea that we were going to have all these people come to speak tonight. I didn't know there was a problem. I'd never heard a thing about it, but I think the communication factor needs to be chopped up, and I think that we need to urge people when they're speaking before the board to be respectful and not call people names, more or less. Speaking of bell ringing and putting a quarter in the thing, next Thursday from 4 to 6, be at the Publix on Fleming Island, and 6 to 8, I think you signed up after me, our Rotary Club rings the bell, and so just come by, and don't bring quarters, bring dollars, okay. Oh, and I wanted to, what?
5s and 10s.
5s and 10s, okay. And I wanted to ask you, Mr. Davis, Chris Trahan, who spoke about the books, the teacher right there, would you follow up on that? Because this is the second time you've talked to us. Fifth? Third? Okay. Would you please get... Would you connect with him?
Terry Connor is.
I want you to get an answer. It's not that I don't like seeing you every month, but you know...
You got a break last month. Yeah. Thank you, Chris.
Okay. The article in today's paper about Pearl Harbor, two of the local residents, it really brought it home. It makes you really think how fortunate we are. I hope all of you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I don't know all the other things that they said earlier, all the different religions, but just stay safe, take care of your family, enjoy, and we will meet again in January. Meeting is adjourned.